All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday, December 6th, 6 p.m. Pacific, and you know what that means. It's Coffee with Cowlazars and K-Pro with special guest Cindy Guess and Decal.
Hey, hey.
So thanks for joining us, everybody. So there is an eBay auction going on right now, and it's for this map right here. I'm going to post the link in the chat room, and it's going to end in about 30 minutes. This is the only copy of the Agua Fria Peak map, which, as we all know, is where warm waters halt. I don't know. It does have right there, though, Hidden Lake, which I think is kind of cool. That says right there, Hidden Lake. So has anybody been to Hidden Lake in New Mexico? That would be kind of neat. But that eBay auction is going to end in 41 minutes. So, yeah, let's go around the room. And, Cindy, you want to start? Just introduce yourself. Tell us what you're doing as far as Forrest Fenn and where people can find you.
Okay, my name's Cindy, and my sister and I are on YouTube, and you'll find us under the Hoosier Sisters.
All right. Decall, you're up?
Yeah, my name's Decall. I have fentreasure.com. I've been in this game since 2014. Formerly with the Flipside. Free agent now. I'm a free agent. And no, I love this game. I love talking about it. I really love this. It's kind of fun.
And also of the Jingle Bell Rock fame. You want to mention that at all? Give them the website?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, jinglebellrock.info. I mean, Mike Cowling and I, just because we're both in Vegas, have been playing a simple game in Las Vegas where they hide a rock and it's worth $10,000. And like over the years, I'd print up all these clues and hand them to my friends and stuff back in the phone book days before the internet, really. And so after a while, we got so sick of doing that, I started a web. I just posted the clues so everybody could share them, And but it grew over time, and now I'm kind of like the Dale Knights of this $10,000 rock contest every year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun. Ramona's played; she's in Vegas, and Mike has played. It's a lot of fun, it's. Well, check it out, jinglebellrock.info. Now, if you know Las Vegas, if you in town, you can play this game in a way. I mean, because they don't put the rock out until the 14th. So if you want to study the clues until the 14th and then come, if you're in California or someplace close enough, you could drive to town and pick up the rock.
10 grand is 10 grand. And the cool thing about Decal's website is you can see where the previous year's rock has been hidden along with all the clues. And they have the little interview with the people who found it in the prior years. I was about a block away one year, but I think everybody was about a block away when it was in Henderson.
There's so many people. Yeah.
Right.
And I forgot to mention, they added $2,500 in jewelry this year. So it's $12,500.
Cool. All right. Christie?
Yeah.
I own a forum named Hidden of Riches, and I want to say happy birthday to Thor. It is 1 year old.
Wow.
We have about 1,500 people that check in each day because Forrest has said when the treasure chest is found, he will announce it there. So a lot of people check in each day to see how their day is going to go. And then I hang out with Cow on Monday and Thursday nights.
We're here.
And I am under the weather, and I have cough drops, and so I apologize if my voice goes in and out. And so Mike's running the show.
So, Cindy, tell us a little bit about the Hoosier Sisters and the YouTube channel. How many searches have you guys done? Where do you guys live? Where are you searching? Why you decided to make the YouTube channel?
Well, I live in Indiana. She lives about 4 hours away in Illinois. Okay. And we've been searching for probably about 6 years. We've had maybe 6 boots on the ground. It looked like a lot of fun. Everybody doing the YouTubes, it just looked like fun. So we just thought we would just start doing it. And then we started about at the same time as everybody stopped. So,
yeah, that's all right.
We went ahead and continued. And it has been fun. We've had a lot of fun doing it, and we did the bloopers because when we first did our first one, it was really more difficult than we expected, and we just messed up a lot. And so we went ahead and made a video. We wanted to do a video out of that, and so it's been. We just want to have fun and keep it light and do this for the winter, and See what happens.
And that's what it's all about, keeping it fun, I think. Any plans to do a boots on the ground video next spring?
I think probably we would do that.
All right, William, thank you for the super chat. I heard about the Elvis thing. I didn't catch it in the last program because I was listening to Scott, but K-Pro filled me in. So, and when she said that hunk of burning love comment, I had no idea what that meant. But what she told me is every time we use an Elvis reference, you're going to donate. So I thought that was crazy. But all right, thanks, William. Okay, so
Cindy, have you had any feedback from Fenn at all? Any emails from him? Like, I mean, you write him first, obviously.
Right. I have written him a few times, and he has responded a few times. I've written him more times than he has responded. How's that? So a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that's the norm for most people.
Yeah, it's normal. Sure, of course it is.
Yeah, he doesn't respond to anything, any talk about the treasure.
Right.
You know, if I ask him, is this right in this article, he'll say yes or no. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And I know this ain't even my show, but I'm so curious all the time. What made you think of New Mexico? I mean, what's your gut reasoning behind rather than Yellowstone? I don't know.
Okay. Really, in the beginning, before 2013, the only thing he ever said was the mountains north of Santa Fe. That's all
true.
he
That's true.
said. And then
that's true.
When he went on the Today Show, that's just when it went wild, and that's when he started saying the Rockies, and all the Rockies.
Yeah, he added all that later. That's a good point.
And
he did.
Plus, I would think he would want to keep it kind of close to home.
Yeah,
a lot of people
sense.
say that. Yeah, a lot of people say that about New Mexico. Keep it close to home.
We did do a video on why we think it is in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So you've had different members. You've had different members on from your search team. I was just wondering how many people comprise your search team.
We have 5.
Okay.
Wow.
My husband, Tammy has her husband, and then I have my son, and he was on, and he's a physics major.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. All right. So, Christy, we wanted to talk about things Forrest Fenn has said that has stuck with us in the past, correct?
Yeah, we did this last week, and I think we had a list of like 10, and we got through
not 3. Many of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we all still had some. So we thought we'd go back to this. I will tell you that the one that got the most dialogue was the first 2 clues. We are going to have someone, we won't say who, on that actually has a full presentation and analysis and really nicely laid out on Monday's show. So we're not going to talk about
guest.
A surprise
on Monday's show. Okay.
Yeah, on Monday's show. So,
so it's but I've seen the
Forrest. It is not Forrest. So, but I thought it was really well laid out. He would like to put it out there to the community. He's had it for a while, but now he's kind of ready to lay it out there. So I said, come on and we will have some fun. So that will be Monday. So we won't talk about that one. But a couple of them that we didn't talk about, and one I wanted to throw out, and I'm going to be looking exactly at the exact quotes because I don't want to make anybody upset. But so let me throw out the first one and try to get the panel to tell me what you think of it. Maybe it's nothing. And then if you have any that you want to throw out. So if you find the treasure, please keep it in a vault for 30 days while you think. I'm thinking there's something more than just your thinking for 30 days. Is there a reason? Some people think there's a proxy. Some think there's a transition of title. This one I don't know, but can we link it to anything else? Is there a Decall, Cindy? What do you think?
I think Forrest Fenn is not a control freak, but he does want to be in control of the final. I mean, what good is that treasure to his legacy? It's all split into a million bits and pieces. He wants to make an offer during that 30 days. Yeah. He wants to have the opportunity to put that in a Smithsonian or the Cody Museum. Or see, I honestly believe he's got to complete his story with that treasure. There is a full-page ad story, like Joel Lewicki brought up this week. There is a full-page story waiting to be told, and it includes chest. And Forrest Fenn needs to attack. So his biggest fear, somebody's going to enter it off into a whole bunch of ravenous when the highest price would go to Forrest Fenn to keep it intact. And it's obviously worth way more as one piece, and it would be too much work for him to try and round it all up again.
How much do you think he would offer to buy it back? Do you have any idea?
Whatever it takes, you know.
Interesting. So he doesn't want me to take it to Pawn Stars and sell it for 50 grand? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get on TV?
I mean, it would be a nightmare to him if they start selling off these damn gold pieces that really aren't that significant by themselves, you know, but that would $6 to get the coins back, you know. Let's keep it intact at first. I know there's plenty of other possibilities and reasons. That's just my gut feeling about Forrest Fenn. He won't say it. He won't admit it because that's part of the bargaining. If he goes blabbing that he wants that damn thing, he's going to have a hard time paying a good price for it.
Well, and he's already said he wants the bracelet back, and I know many people think that's a hint that he doesn't actually want the bracelet back. So, what do you think, Cindy?
I think that Decall makes a lot of sense with that. I mean, he wanted it to be found in 1,000 years and put in a museum. So if it were found now, then that's probably still what he would like to have done. So he probably does want involvement in it. That makes sense.
Well, if you look at your own feelings and desires, there's a deep down need to be important, to be remembered in history. And how can that happen if that thing's in a million pieces? His must be remembered with attached to this story, firmly to this. The story has to be displayed at some, you know, public place along with the location where it's found. I believe there's a story attached to all of it, and the story is really untold right now or unfinished.
Well, Decall, do you think that same thing will happen if he is passed when it is found?
Well, I know that's the problem. I mean, seems to say over and over, you know, to people like, you know, like yourself and others that he has it all figured out and taken care of, you know. I don't know how you could do it, but plan this all out like to that detail.
I don't know if he wants to buy it back. I haven't actually considered that before, but I do think he wants to talk to the finder and he wants to offer them advice on what he thinks they should do.
Sure.
And I think he just wants them to put it away for 30 days just so they can think on it. I mean, you know, there's a lot of options. You know, do you put it, you know, somebody said Sotheby's or one of the auction houses, or do you put something, you know, there's a lot of questions that would be answered. The most important is probably the legal question. So maybe even Forrest has some advice on either taxes or the legal question. Because you got to figure that out before you can decide what you actually want to do with it long term.
Yeah, so maybe it's advice or maybe it's him buying it back.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and this closeness to the person that actually figures it out. You know, Forrest Fenn is dying to be understood here. You know, he wants to be understood, and that person will have figured out everything, spirit sort of thing. You know, I think he'll want to just meet that person at the very least.
And maybe it has something to do with that autobiography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be. It could be.
I think there's some good there.
There's something.
Oh, there's something good. Yeah. See, like
Okay.
I've said before, it's are generally things that you can't speak in public.
Well, when it comes to yours, Decall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my long list of secrets. Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more and then I'll leave it open for you guys to throw some more out. If you have a search partner, best to have them wait in the car. This one perplexes me because he said don't search alone. Why are we leaving him in the car?
I think we can't go on together with suspicious minds, and he doesn't want people to have problems. So I really think what he means is, I think he was making a joke where you could go find it and maybe not tell your search partner about it. Now, I don't know how you get it back to the car without them knowing, but I think he was just making a joke.
Okay.
Well, that was a very. Go ahead, Cindy. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Now, Tammy had a different take on that. She thought, maybe he was talking to Cynthia and her search partner was her dog, and the place that she was in, the dog was not allowed.
That's a good idea. That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to pass this on to Cynthia. This is good stuff. She needs to know. Okay, so well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe a joke. I think there's some. I don't know. Maybe there's not something more. Do you have one? Okay, we need to call the elephant out in the room. What about these omegas? Decall, did your head actually explode when he took one of the omegas out? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I come to terms with it. Did you go to therapy for a while?
My head exploded when the book came out and there were no omegas, okay? So I write Forrest and I say, there's still time to call the...
He made a mistake.
Let me do an ink stamp on there. Let me, do it by hand or something. I don't know. And then we'll catch them on the... I literally said this to Forrest. I'm like, you can stop the press, get a little stamp or something and stamp them things on there because it's a mistake, No one in their right mind would do it twice in a row and then leave it blank. And so something to the effect of they weren't necessary. And so that explode moment. But then, okay, that little turd Forrest, puts the single omega.
He's messing with
come
you.
on. I can talk a little trash to Forrest. He goes and puts the single omega, in the back of the... I know he's got to be messing with me because I'm the one talking about it half the time.
At least he didn't put a salamander at the end of the book. That would really be messing with you. Just a little tiny one.
Well, gosh, I mean, you could have guessed everything under the sun and you wouldn't have guessed one omega to show up in that book. He got us with that. But I've omegas as FF, and so it's kind of like the 1F. It's kind of like maybe the first omega's been, the last one hasn't yet, or this book represents omega. Maybe there's got to be a twist to it or with us. But I've never thought of Forrest as the type to just mess with us unless we're being ridiculous with him,
Oh, maybe that's the message, Decall.
Yeah, overkilling it on the omegas, and he's got to mess with me. It's not essential, sure.
Well, no, you put out the whole Burke and he's a murderer and all that, and I thought, ooh,
the Burke.
Like that. And now he zings you. That's his zing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't take it seriously, but I mean, I love thinking about the Forrest and the Fenn, and why not the Burke? Throw that in, and the omegas.
So, Decall, if you win the World Series of Fenn, if you win that poker tournament, I'm going to get you a cowboy hat that has double omegas right there.
Yeah.
I'll get it embroidered on your hat, or I'll get you a new hat.
I'm just going to bring the double omegas. You got a good idea there, brother.
Okay, so Cindy, do you have any comments on the omegas? Weren't as critical to me, but I know they did cause a stir with several that was a key part of their solve or integrated in their solve. I don't know your solve well enough to know. Did it rock your world like it did Decall?
No, not at all. I mean, I really, I don't know about the omegas, maybe tunnels or horseshoes. I don't know. So no, I haven't really worked that into myself.
I always thought the beginning and the end, like the alpha, the omega, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my argument from the beginning, and I won't go much into this, but it has to be in the poem for it to be an issue, okay? It might be his colophon on whatever, but it has to also be in the poem. And I'm saying, I've always said that halt, the word halt is at begin it where will waters halt, and your quest to cease is beginning and end of the journey. And the reason it's at the beginning and end is because you literally start at an omega and you end at an omega. So halt and cease are my literal poem. They're, it's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. It's meant to be to end. Not a beginning and end, not alpha and omega, but actual omega to omega.
End. Okay.
End to end. And I think in the poem, there's plenty of argument for this life cycle metaphor that takes place within all of us and life. Anyway, I'm the symbolic guy too. I'm really into symbolism here.
Well, Minotaur Moreno just said X is the 24th letter and Omega is the 24th letter in the Greek alphabet.
Yes,
Is that
that's
true?
true.
That's
Yes.
interesting. So it's almost like the Omega is the missing X in the poem. That's interesting.
Well, so which one was taken out, the beginning, or is this telling us we're at the end? This is the end.
Well, let me blow your mind a little bit more. Arsenic is the first word of the poem, and the symbol for arsenic is the missing double X, is the double X.
I wonder if the single Omega could be a way of saying this is the last book. Like, this is the end of the 3-book trilogy.
The end.
No?
No, but do you remember on the lore where he's like, I have nothing more to say? And then he's put out hundreds of words and he's put out another book and a different version of a book. I think just like the rest of us, Hotel California, we can't walk away. He can't walk away. So he might say it. That might be what he intended. He ain't going anywhere. He loves this chase.
We can check out, but we can never leave.
Exactly.
And neither can Fenn. Yeah, neither can Forrest.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, well, do you all have some? I mean, I have plenty. So but do you have one that you just can't walk away from?
Do we want to talk about the new scrapbook, Mr. Barry Manilow and Miss Suzanne Summers? Has everybody read the scrapbook?
Has everyone listened and
watched? I didn't realize she's such a good singer. I mean, I knew she could sing, but that was good. I mean, to hang in there with Barry Manilow, talented.
Do you remember she had a show at the Hilton for a while out here?
Yeah,
I mean, I never went and saw it, but she did have she was going to do a residency, and for some reason it got stopped, but she was out here for a while.
Yeah, and she's very talented, very talented.
So I don't know why I don't know why he posted that. Just seemed to come out of thin air, didn't it? I mean, he's talking about the baby, it's cold outside. I mean, unless he's just saying, hey, it's wintertime. He's giving us a reminder to not go outside and search because it's the off season.
There has news things that song is not politically correct. Okay?
Right,
so
right. So it is in the news. Yeah,
it is definitely in the news, and she's making a statement that feminine. I mean, that song, it could be a woman chasing a man or a man chasing a woman. And so, if you look at some of the other skits on that song, you'll see man chasing a woman for a little part of the song, and then the woman chasing him back, and okay, the thrill of the chase. I mean,
and then you get burked, and then it's too cold.
Yeah, then you get burked.
I'm just messing
with
you.
And somebody did, and on did reference, was this about all this Cynthia nonsense discussion that's going on? But before we go there, did anyone see Forrest's response on...
I had a comment, but I won't make it. Go ahead.
Be good, and we're not showing the picture. We might reference it because Decall brought it up early. Decall is the reason we might reference it.
It was cold in that picture. That's all I'll say.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
Okay.
Forrest responded to that.
No, Forrest responded to the scrapbook. Focus on Decall. And did you see what he said?
No,
I didn't see it either.
Oh,
on Dale's site.
On Dale's site.
It's all about chemistry.
Yeah, wow.
Oh.
Now, did he mean chemistry? Did he mean periodic table?
That's a hint to the periodic table right there, huh?
Home run.
Davio must be listening. That's a clue right to the periodic table.
First word arsenic, last word gold. Come on, dude.
And isn't brown in the periodic table? BR or something like that?
Yeah, bromide or bromide.
I haven't really looked into the periodic table as far as a hint, but I don't know. There's some things there that are some weird coincidences.
Well, evidently, Forrest has some historical chemistry with Suzanne Summers, SS,
Oh, we got FF and SS. All right.
Yeah, well, Peggy Proctor, Suzanne
PP.
Summers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan.
So we got 3 minutes till the eBay auction ends, just in case anybody wants to watch. Just putting it out there. And it's currently at $209 for Agua Fria Peak, a silver Forrest Fenn 2019 searcher coin, and then another map of your choice. Then you get the certificate, and of course you get the Forrest Fenn story. So, and I do know of people that have gotten the Forrest Fenn story in the mail, so I'm sure somebody will post it at some point.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Anon says it's about the chemistry between he and Cynthia as friends, and maybe that's right.
I don't know. I have no comment on that one. I don't know. He said it's about the
Well-
chemistry. That's what he said, huh?
It's all
Well,
about
I-
chemistry, is what he said.
I know that he has that short video clip of him and Suzanne Summers. I've replayed that a few times.
Where she's
That's-
at
Yeah,
the excavation thing.
yeah.
I don't know.
I can tell you. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but breaking news. When we did the Jamie event and we were trying to get a special person, like a surprise guest,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was one name that him and I kicked around. So I know
Suzanne Summers. Yeah.
Yeah, he is friends. Like there were several people that I reached out to try to get there. Timing didn't work out. It was really short notice for, having somebody come in, but she was one that I reached out to. So.
Do you
Well,
think that was a current video? Is that current? To me, they looked younger than I expected them to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an
I think
older.
it's
That's an older
dated.
video, right? Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, I thought that was something they did a long time ago. Forrest just happened to find it and decided to post it for whatever reason.
Yeah, it makes you wonder though if it's a current event. They're responding to all this criticism of the song, or is it? And maybe Forrest is just the point about this song is with this type of romance and in the song that wasn't. There's way too much feminist talk and correct. I hate it too. I think that's where Forrest is going with this.
Well, he's also like the Maverick, so I think he's saying, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't care what's politically correct, and and maybe that's a little hint that hey, maybe I did bury it in a park where you're not supposed to bury things, or maybe I hid it somewhere that. No, that's not it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying.
We're not encouraging people to break the law. I think going to that. I think he's been very clear. So when we had Scott on last week, Scott was able to debrief with us. And I think he was much like many people that thought he was going to get all positive, not all positive, but a lot of searchers behind him because his solve really makes sense to him. And I think it was so great for the wide variety of feedback that he got. But that's the one that I have an issue with is I do not think Forrest is saying break the law. I think he's saying now. Some people say like when he says don't dig, that means it is buried. I actually think it might mean that it's not buried because you don't need to dig, but we can get into those.
I don't think it's buried, and no, I don't think you have to break the law in order to find the chest at all. I mean,
there's
Forrest
no
would
way
not do that. I mean, I just don't think anybody would design a treasure hunt that way.
Well, it's interesting. Well, he has pushed the limits of the law, and he sort of talks about that. That's an open subject. That's one of his themes. Okay, we don't know the rules. I really don't think Forrest would ever infringe on someone else's sort of things. You might want to, the government, that's one thing. The BLM and park boundary is by the people, and he talks about that. But another individual person's property, that's completely out of bounds. And I would say, going off trail, he's warned us about that in Yellowstone. We don't go off trail. Didn't he say that about Yellowstone?
Yeah, but he also likes to be off the beaten path, so that's where it's a little bit of both. I think.
Well, he said
in
it's
Yellowstone, not. You could boil yourself to death in hot mud pits. If you're stupid. Yeah, you could break through some crust, lose a leg, lose your whole body. Die.
But he said the chest is not in close proximity to a human trail. Now, what does close proximity mean? I mean, how close is that?
Yeah,
it's subjective, just like the poem.
200 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then no man-made structure. I mean, so it's out there in the middle of the wilderness somewhere, right? We just got to find it.
Well, he didn't say no man-made structure on all of them. Cynthia said that and has it in her book. So go buy her book.
He said, what did he say? No man-made structure. The chest, right? The chest is not in or associated with a man-made structure. Isn't that the quote?
Associated with any structure.
With any man-made structure, I think is what he said. Or maybe he just said structure. And then when people asked him, he said, that's right, look up the word structure. So it's not in somebody's house, in other words.
No need to dig up old outhouses. The treasure is not associated with any structure.
With any
You
structure.
see that?
Okay.
You
So
see
it's the
that?
treasure. It's not
Structure,
all of
yeah.
the hints. Now, Cynthia has said that she heard from Forrest none of the clues, none of the 9 clues are associated with the
And that's
structure.
interesting if that's true.
And
Because
that's a
Now,
little bit different.
there was a question, I think on Mysterious Writings, where someone asked, are all the clues, does that apply to all the clues? And he answered in a way that really didn't answer that.
that's what Forrest is known
Yeah,
for, and
we
that's
don't
what he
like to-
does.
Then speak.
Well, that
Right.
reminds me when he said Warm Waters Halt is not a. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a very clear statement. That doesn't mean that Homa Brown is not associated with the dam.
That's true.
And
Only that one clue he ruled out, right?
he was very specific, and Warm Waters Halt are not associated with a dam.
And something that we confirmed, I know some people might not want to talk about it, but something that was confirmed on the last show was he's asked 2 different people, did you dip your toe in it? Was it warm?
Yeah.
So that tells me the warm waters we're looking for are physically warm waters. I mean,
Or is he just messing with people?
well, that's true. That's the other thing. That's true.
Yeah.
He
Well,
could just be
I have
asking
seen-
random questions. That's true.
There are people freaking out because they don't have any warm water to dip their toe in, so people, I don't know how you could have a solve without water. I mean, Warm Waters Halt, that's clear as day to me. No paddle up your creek. Everyone thinks that's a dry creek. Mostly New Mexico, Colorado people think, no offense, Cindy.
Well,
I
so
mean-
Marty has a question I like. Why does Forrest not want to eliminate being buried? I think that's a great question.
Oh, why does he say
not want to-
hidden, not buried? Right.
Yeah, and I want to give a congratulations to Joe Lewicki's Facebook hit 1,000. So they asked the question something like, I might not get it exactly right, what animal would be seeing your treasure right now? And he said,
Right.
I don't want to answer that because if I say a buffalo, then that means it's not buried, and I don't want to give that out as a clue, which I thought was really interesting because he went a different angle with it. So
And
that's smart.
Forrest said, you trying to get me to say if it's buried or not? I thought that was pretty funny.
Why
Good
didn't you
question,
want to
Joel.
say
That seems like a question that would come from a lawyer, doesn't it?
In the lure, in that Q&A he did with in the lure, he said, I don't want to have to define the terms. And he said, go and look it up in the dictionary. So, and then he said, if you lay it on the ground and the weeds blow on it, is it buried? And so maybe
Right.
that's why he can't say it, because maybe technically it is buried, even if it's on the ground and weeds blew on it.
So maybe he didn't bury it, but maybe it could be buried now after over the years. So
Well, but let's think about this the other way. If it was buried to start with, he
mhm.
could say that either way. So doesn't that mean if we use the logic, we just then now we know it didn't start out buried, right?
Well, I think there must be something important here. Otherwise, why would he even make a big deal out of it? It could be one people digging,
That's
It could be that he really doesn't want to be specific. It could be that there's symbolism. I mean, he says he
Well,
wants to throw his bones on to the treasure.
he said, "Don't dig where you're not supposed to dig." Right. So
Yeah,
that to
that's
me
true,
means
very
don't
true.
dig anywhere where it's illegal to dig. I mean, it's pretty simple. Don't dig where you're not supposed to dig. So
Wow, beautiful. Yeah.
that rules out a lot of places, right? To
Yeah.
dig anyway. If you think
But
it's
shouldn't
actually
that rule
buried,
out
that
the
rules out.
entire categories of land, like Indian reservations. That should be completely ruled out then, right?
If it's buried, yes. But
okay.
I mean, maybe that's why he doesn't want to say if it's buried or not, because it would rule
Yeah.
out a whole bunch
That's a
of
good point.
places.
There's
Right.
legal complications too.
Right.
So he can't enter into a verbal contract stating anything. He can't say if it's buried. He can't say if it's not buried, and he has to maintain that over. I would never go on to India. It's might as well be private property because a treasure chest belongs to that tribe the moment it is resting there. There's no exceptions. That's a separate nation.
That's unless there's an agreement with that nation.
Fine. There could
Well,
be
how would he do that though?
It could be a contractual agreement.
Something in the that's
um,
true. The
which
title to the gold,
seems
maybe.
really flaky to me, shaky. Is if anyone could even figure out that there was Indian lands, they could figure. Well, they basically take it for themselves, you know, immediately. Simple.
Well, so
Just pick it
William's
up.
asking, hypothetically, if it is buried or not, why would it be a big clue? And I think what we're saying here is if he says it's buried, then it would need to be on the type of land that it would be legal to be able to get title to the gold, to the treasure chest, is my opinion. Is that what we're saying? I think we actually have consensus here. That's what we're saying, right? So it would rule out entire categories of land, and it would
rule out Yellowstone National Park, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but what if he placed the chest down in a little depression, okay, some branches over it, you know, maybe push some rocks over near it, just, you know, concealed. He made a big deal out of the word concealed. But now, any 10 years, 20 years later, that thing has changed because dirt has blown in there. You know, more weeds have blown in there, and now they've decomposed, and now it's totally covered and concealed completely, and basically buried. So that would be a good reasoning why he couldn't say buried. I mean, it has been talked to death, but I don't think it's through well enough. There's a lot of different ideas that you have to like talk it out, basically.
Okay, K-Pro, can you ask him if there is any no trespassing signs? That's a fair question. He should actually answer that for sure. I think he could be asked that to give to Jenny for the end of year roundup. That would be fabulous.
February 5th, is it? February 4th?
He always does a Feb 4, but I think
Super
a couple
Bowl.
years ago, he actually did a December 31st because that was one of the 2 clue hints. He did like an end of year questions, and then he did the 6 questions, which is on Feb 4. So I don't know if he's going to do both. I haven't looked how many years he did which ones. I did an analysis, though, of scrapbooks, weekly words, surprise words, etc. over each year. And some have gone and disappeared. Some have gone more. How many each year? Because somebody said how quiet he was this last year, which I thought was funny because he actually put out more words, but different types of words. Like he put out a lot more on the YouTube channels. And of course, years ago, there weren't YouTube channels that were talking about all this. He put out clarifications on Thor, but he did put less words on Jenny's, and scrapbooks were about the same. And so I think he's evolving like we are as a community of where he puts out words is, I think, where the most popular or where the most discussion is happening. And I think that's phased out of the forums, and I think that has phased into YouTube, in my opinion. And I own both, or I'm a part of both. So I'm not naming my favorite child. I'm just trying to look at the facts, but I think that's where the most rich discussion is happening.
So William just asked, if it is buried, then what would make you want to dig in that spot? Well, the blaze, right? The only thing that we have to go by is looking for the blaze, which should mark exactly where the chest is. Does anybody have a different take on that? So in other words, how do you know exactly where the chest is?
I think that's what we're all missing. In my opinion, I think it has to be, and this was one of the issues I had with Scott Solve, is it can't just be here and then just keep digging out. I think there is something in that poem that locks you into a specific spot. So I think there is the blaze, but I think look quickly down, quest cease is still in play in that. And I know everybody says they have it and they'll know by next summer, but I don't think we do. And I think that's been the issue, is I don't think anybody can say, here's the exact spot down to a 5-foot radius where it is. And if they can, then more power to them. But I think that's what we're missing. We kind of have a general type of area. I think the poem's going to lock it into an exact spot.
Yeah.
Didn't he say if you find the blaze, you'll find the treasure?
Something like that. I won't say that. And I see that Dennis is not in the room. She would hold us to the exact words.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. I thought he said something like, if you find the blaze, it'll be apparent. Yeah, it'll be obvious, right?
It should be obvious or something, but I don't know.
Okay, here it is. If you can find the blaze, though, the answer. Okay, wait. The question is, how far is the chest located from the blaze? From Cassie. Cassie, I did not take a measurement, but logic tells me that if you don't know where the blaze is, it really doesn't matter. If you can find the blaze, though, the answer to your question will be obvious. Does that help?
Well, that tells me it's not buried. If it's obvious, we don't know how far down to dig. So that right there tells me for it to be obvious, it's not buried.
Treasure chest, dig here 3 feet or 18 feet.
Yeah, well, there must be some mechanism, some point in the poem, 200 feet, but hasn't figured out that final mechanism. The poem, so we're asking ourselves, what gets us down that final 12 feet? You know, within 12 feet, it should be, it's sort of the same sort of thing. We should be able to find it, not see it within 12 feet, but find it within 12 feet. So I've always looked to the poem maybe as a clock face, since there is 24 lines, looking for a mechanism that way. There are a few ideas that could get you to a very specific point on the map. But geez, and how big is the blaze? Does that tell us how big the blaze is? I mean, my blaze is pretty big. You know, it's you know, some people have thousands of wide blaze.
As big as a football field. Yeah, I've heard that.
Some is that mark on a tree. You know,
but to me, that's not obvious. It can't be that big because then it's not obvious where the chest is located.
Right,
so
right.
It's got to be something to where you look quickly down and there it is. Now maybe you have to unhide it. It's covered. You know, however it's hidden, because he said nobody will stumble upon it. But I also think the blaze is not something that anybody that's not a searcher would recognize. They would walk right by the blaze and not realize the significance.
What Cindy said, and then there's a couple of people in the chat room saying, so what happens if it used to not be, it used to just be kind of hidden, but now stuff is over it. And I think it was Anon said, and then a tree fell on it 3 years ago. Now it's a whole different game. It's not like it was before. Does he know that? Did he think of that? Has he thought about those?
And he doesn't visit the site.
He hasn't been back. Yeah.
And I mean, maybe he could see that on by satellite. Satellite's pretty interesting. The concept of satellite, you know. And does he have a private satellite service where he sees all the traffic on location every day? You know, foot traffic, vehicle traffic, parking there. How much detail can you see from a satellite image? You know.
Yeah. Well, so here's my last one that I had on my list, which is the architect. I felt like an architect drawing that poem. So I guarantee you I worked on that thing. Let me give you the whole quote. So it was 15 years from the time that I got cancer until the time I hid the treasure chest. 15 years. And ... The poem in my book is something I changed over and over again. When you read the poem, it looks just like simple words there, but I guarantee you I worked on that thing. I felt like an architect drawing that poem. The original version of the poem said, quote, take the treasure, but leave my bones and go in peace, or something like that. But then I got well and it ruined that story. So the part to focus on for me is architect. It's like, and he's made a couple of comments like that, architect, drawn X, architect. So that tells me there's something, I don't want to say numeric, but it's almost like binary or quantitative, something that would be not as imaginative, not as that sort of imagination piece. It's something exact.
Try the wheel.
Try the wheel.
You've been to his house. If you've been to his gallery, many people, I mean, you could see the inside of his house, but I've been to the gallery. Amount of planning that went into building a vault at his gallery, the amount of planning that went into, you don't just drag 1,000-pound vault. I mean, I tried to unload some 1,000-pound heat exchangers a few days ago, and two guys couldn't move it even an inch. I mean, it's heavy. That vault he installed in his it's impressive. He did the same for his house. He had all those fireplaces made the same way. He planned the entire garden to have water flow in your backyard or in a gallery yard. That's because that crap with moss and it requires maintenance. And you could tell that it's still very well designed. It hasn't gone to hell yet, you know.
But Decall, since you've been to his house and his vault, and so have you, Mike, I have a question. His house walls and his vault walls are meticulous and presentation driven.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his desk and look at in the vault that was on the paneling, the
shelf. Yeah, the table.
And if you've been back in his lab, that's out in the garage.
Sure.
The lab, there's parts that are very meticulously presented,
mm-hmm.
but the space that he sits in is messy. I don't mean messy in a bad way, Forrest, but You saw it when you went over and picked up the bells on his desk. Do you remember his desk? It was a little messy.
Right.
But the room is meticulous. I mean, they have every little item is
Yeah,
lined up.
and they left the bathroom the same in the gallery. That was very interesting. There's metal objects all over every wall in there. It's beautiful. But if you're in construction like me, now to plan out and build different buildings and things and yards and that, it takes many, many thousands, or at the very least, many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours to get things perfect. And if you're in construction, trying to get things perfect is very difficult. That's the feeling I get about him, like the full page ad. He plans things out in his, so the poem, how well planned out. Now, in my mind, I believe there's many, many ideas in the poem, like the arsenic is beautiful. And I don't think you realize, but arsenic is the reason is most likely the reason he had kidney problems, his kidney removed, cancerous tumor. Kidney is the first thing affected by arsenic. So AF for arsenic is the perfect first word of the poem, because that's the whole reason the whole thing started. It all directly to Yellowstone in that the 10 miles of river that he mentions in the preface is the highest concentration of arsenic in any scenario in the Rocky Mountains. There may be other places with equal amounts of high arsenic, but that is like a bullseye on that river that he already speaks of. Now, it doesn't have to be right, but it sure is an interesting coincidence that it's a Yellowstone. So the first stone, or the first word and the last word, are yellow stones. It's a simple argument. It could be a rabbit hole, but I think there's many things in the poem. I think he worked hard on it. I think he worked hard to make the Omega and his life journey and the metamorphosis and all these symbolisms work. I think it also tells several different at the same time. I think that's the artistic leeway that he has with the poem. You read the poem once, talking about death. You read the poem again, it could be talking about birth. I think it is very artistic, very creative, and very. I mean, the more I don't know very many people that can keep up with me on the poem in that symbolic sort of reasoning, and I could be totally wrong. I'm not arrogant about that at all. I just I think there's a lot of artistic content there. I can see 15 years of work in it.
Okay, did any of you have words? Because we're about 13 minutes out. We want to start wrapping up in 10 minutes and talk about poker tournament, all of that other stuff and maps and all that. Is the auction over?
The auction is over, and I believe it went for $230. There is not an auction up now. I think the next auction that me and Christie are going to put up might have like 10 maps in it. I'm not sure. We got to go through it. We're going to do a bigger auction, in other words, instead of just one.
We are.
Yeah, I think we need to. We got to go bigger. But remember, for every 2 maps, there's a coin. So we'll see. We got to talk about it, but we'll see. That'll be next week sometime.
Let's talk about that.
You don't think that's a good idea?
And I obviously do now because you put it out there. So yes,
I think it should be a bigger auction. But yeah, we'll see.
Was there any handwritten notes by Farks or anything on these maps? Has that been promoted in any way per map? Well,
I haven't promoted it at all, but what I've seen on some of the ones that I've pulled and shipped is there is writing on the back, like a letter number, and I don't know if it relates to something on the map, like a sequence number. I didn't check. I mean, I'm trying to.
So there is back and
one of the maps is highlighted. One of the maps is actually highlighted with a marker, the name, and I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate on what's going on or even who did it, but I'm just trying to get the maps out of here because it's a lot more work than I thought. So,
and what we decided, and everybody heard last time, our over under was 25, and I think first week over 90 plus another 20 emails have come in. So we actually haven't start truly promoting the maps until Mike
we really haven't until
up.
I get caught up. Then there'll be a video that says, hey, do you want to buy a map? But for now, I'm just trying to get caught up for the people that have paid. So I put 6 orders went out in the mail today. Not 6 maps, 6 orders. Most people are ordering more than 1 map because they want the coin, and most people are ordering more than 2 maps because I'm assuming maybe they want a coin to sell and then a coin to keep. It's just a guess. But yeah, if anybody is interested in the maps, I put an updated list on Cowlazars Grand Adventure. Christy, you updated the list on Thor, the forum.
Right.
And everybody can just email me at fenmaps@gmail.com. It's just going to take me about a week to get to them. I'm going in order, and it's a slow process. So if you've emailed me, I will email you back. But I don't know if the map's available until I go through the orders that have come in before yours. So.
William, I would say the number of coins are available. I would say around 100, over 100, or right.
Yeah,
around
there's
100.
still over 100 left, so we're not.
Yeah.
We're not in any danger of running out of coins. We will at some point, but most people are buying or getting 2, 3, or 4 coins. It's not like people have went crazy yet, but you never know who might want to do what. So.
And William has just said that the Flipside is going to be on Friday night. So that's interesting. I haven't heard that, so that's interesting.
Decall, can you shed any light on that? Is the Flipside coming back?
Sean was talking about bringing it back. And to be truthful, I really can't deal with this long period of silence, and simply because it includes me, I don't understand why I'm in this little realm of silence, and I don't know if it's not like I want to say anything personal against anybody. I just that kind of, it's not really about a friendship. It's like we're just in this zone of silence, and I'm not being communicated with. So I guess I feel like really like the third choice girlfriend, So really, I'm out, dude. I don't like that. I'm never a backseat to anybody. I do my own. I'm happy, I don't give a damn. So I'll say what I think. I'll say it how. And Mike and Christy, you've always been terrific to me, and Cindy, you're a terrific person. Whatever happens, I'm fine with it. I like talking about the treasure. I mean, it seems like a big waste to let it go to nothing. I know a lot about this game. I enjoy it.
Cool. And William said Sean posted on Facebook. Maybe it's in his page. I can't see his page. So okay, cool. I mean, I think the more the better, as long as we're keeping kind of on content topic. I think it's great. So let's see.
I'd like to see him post the Del Nitzel video. Bring that back up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where Dale was on their show. Yeah, that was a good video. And I can't see the flip side on Facebook either, so I don't know what's going on. You guys would have to let us know, I guess.
Yeah. So today, Shannon Utz, the Odious Soul, has put up a video kind of teasing. She's getting ready to do her hunt. Mm-hmm. She did show that she has number 38 and 39 of the silver coins. So she is going to be putting those in her hunt. So it's totally free. You do have to subscribe to her channel. So she just went over 1,000. So she did make over the 1,000. So congrats to Shannon, and make sure to subscribe to Odious Soul. And then poker tournament. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yep.
January 26th. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, January 26th, World Series of Fenn. There is a t-shirt design contest going on right now. And what we decided was the winner that we pick of the design contest, whether we make the t-shirts or not, they're going to have their choice of 1 map, 1 silver coin, or 1 copper coin. They have their choice of one of those items. So if you guys want to put in a design for a t-shirt, once we have them all, me and Christy will kind of decide if we want to make them or not. But yeah, January 26th at Bally's or Bolly's here on the Las Vegas Strip. And it's a $60 poker tournament that the casino is going to run. They handle all that part, but we're going to add some pretty cool prizes. Can we say what some of the prizes are yet, or is that still up in the air?
Still up in the air.
Still up in the air. All right. You guys will know probably come January.
Yeah, well, and that's the big thing is let me know, and I don't need to know your full and real name. If you just want to give me your handle, we're trying to get numbers, but we're trying to put some cool stuff that everybody would get. So if you don't
Yeah,
tell
so-
us that, you're not going to get one of those things, and it won't be huge.
So,
It'll just be something to try to make it fun.
If we do T-shirts and we think there's going to be 20 people, but 30 show up, well, guess what? Not everybody's going to get a T-shirt. So we kind of need to know how many people are going to show up. So if you could just say, yeah, I'll be there, and maybe if you're bringing somebody, you know what I mean? Everybody's welcome. So, but just if you could give us a heads up by January, that would be very helpful. So Decal, you're going to be there, right?
I'm definitely in. There ain't no way I'm going to, barring any years, and I'm going to practice my game and clear that table.
I'm taking it down, so we'll see. It should be interesting.
Yeah, I like it.
Might have to get some side bets going. You never know. Last longer bets.
First round, a woman won it, so I think second round.
She said, Mary told me she has not touched or doesn't know how to play. I was like, no, come on, dude. You killed on that game. I mean.
Oh, and I will say, somebody asked, I don't know really how to play, so I'm a little intimidated. Mike is willing to, earlier in the day, do some sort of just real generic lesson about how it works. The dealers are going to hold to the rules, but he is right. You just shook your head no, Mike.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
if you want to, but you have to let us know beforehand, because if you don't want that, we're planning some other things. So let us know if that's something that you would be interested in. You can get all of Mike's tells. He's really easy to read once you know all those and have played a few times. So anyway,
it should be a fun weekend or a fun tournament. But maybe if we know how many people are coming, then maybe we could plan something for Friday night, Saturday before the tournament. What are we going to do Saturday after the tournament? These are all things we are setting up right now. So, but the T-shirt design contest, send them to me or to K-Pro.
Yeah, Decall and Mike are really good people to have around later after the tournament, after hours party. So they're good people to have around. Let's see. We talked about maps. You're going with a new strategy. This is going to be interesting to find out.
Well, that's just the next eBay auction, which is not set yet. We'll talk about what we're going to do for the next eBay auction.
Yeah, and Shannon Hunts. What else do we have? Do we have anything else?
Copper Dan put out his first video about the searcher coins, so look for Copper Dan on YouTube. Look,
yeah, and I couldn't figure out how to subscribe to him because it was only on Facebook and it linked over. So Copper Dan, you may want to say what you're.
Go to YouTube to actually.
I did. There was no subscribe button, is what I'm saying.
It was there for me, so I don't know.
Oh, has he blocked me? That's starting to become a pattern.
Nice. The Hoosier Sisters are on YouTube. You guys can subscribe to that. Everybody can check out the Jingle Bell Rock. Give that website one more shout out.
Yeah, it's simple. JingleBellRock.info. JingleBellRock.info.
And let me ask you this real quick. With the clues, I know the rock hasn't been hidden yet. They're not going to hide it until December 14th. But do you think all the clues they've given thus far are just elimination clues, or do you think they're trying to tell us something?
Oh, I think they have dual meaning.
They do.
You know, a lot of them have been very obvious places. And so that makes me think, okay, there's got to be more to it. Now, I don't think it's every single clue has a deep meaning clue.
Right.
I just think there's I don't want to give you an example, but I think there's plenty of hidden secrets in those clues. Okay. And it makes it fun. You know, these people come up with this stuff out of thin air and they find the rock. So even if you're wrong, you still might find it, you know.
Because they kind of started at Boulder City and they're working their way toward the city, it seems like, aren't they?
Yeah, and just don't look around town because it's not going to be in town. This rock is so popular. There's 8,000 unique visitors on my site when it starting next week. And it's busy, you know, so it's a lot of fun though.
It's always on the edge, right? It's always on the edge.
On the edge of town or out of town. It might be.
Well, and the funny part is, if I just watched the teaser thing that I think you put up, Decall, the rock is not like a little, like Jenny's was like a little rock.
No, it's
rock
big.
Is like
it's a big paving stone. Yeah. And you can see pictures of the Jingle Bell Rock on Decal's website also.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. We have a lot. I'm not even here trying to promote it. It's just a lot of fun. It's fun. Anybody near Vegas, play it.
I'll probably be out there December 14th, driving around, looking for it with my boys.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'll have to get the GoPro out and make some videos. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Cindy, did we already say where we can find you again?
Hoosier Sisters. Right.
Sorry. I do want to tell Forrest.
Yeah.
Nice.
Messy desk, clear mind.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to tell Forrest, let me know about that single Omega. I need that information there, Forrest.
Now, somebody just asked, is there a Fenn announcement coming? Did I hear that? Nobody here said that there's a Forrest Fenn announcement coming out, right? So I don't know where he's getting that from.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, no, not that any of us know of.
If Christie hasn't heard it, it doesn't exist.
Oh,
That's not true.
Because it'll be on Thor, is what he meant.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's why. No, I have not heard anything. And I mean, we've just got a scrapbook. So maybe that's what they're referring to. Yes, there's a brand new scrapbook out that Forrest put out yesterday. And we're all really excited about it. And we thank Forrest because he has been quiet for a little while. I'm glad to see that.
Oh, that was cool.
We're back to, yes, it's cold outside and we all need to think about that.
So thrill the chase. Come on, it's about the chase.
And the other thing that I decided to do is I'm going to upload my vlogs, all the old ones, on Facebook. And that means I'm not going to post a link. I'm actually going to upload them on Facebook. So if you guys search Forrest Fenn on Facebook, you will see those vlogs. I'm probably going to do like one a day. There's 100 of them. It's going to take a while. But they'll be there if anybody wants to check them out. And I'll post them in Cowlazars Grand Adventure on Facebook. So Monday we have a special guest, Monday 6 p.m. Pacific. You guys should subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you don't. That's okay too. And hit that little notification button because you never know when we might go live. It might not always be Mondays and Thursdays. We might have some breaking news that we have to announce. So you just never know when me and Christy might decide to talk to you guys.
Excellent.
Sounds
Thank you
good.
all for being here. I think we're done for tonight. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Decall. You guys are both first timers on.
Oh yeah.
So this is
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of it. Yeah, I am.
It was awesome.
Long time friend, first time.
That's right.
Be longer.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.
Bye.